Yo, how's everyone? This is the start of a new English channel for me. Thank you for tuning in. With Lost Ark just around the corner, with the start of a new closed beta on November 4th, I wanted to share some of my experiences and knowledge to the users who are interested in this new game. To quickly introduce myself, you can call me Albert or Al. I've been playing the Korean Lost Ark for a while. I'm not the top PvE player, but I enjoy the latest endgame raid contents and have decently geared 14 different classes. I also stream on Twitch where top Korean PvP players come to provide me information often, so feel free to drop by to ask additional questions. So I wanted to start the first video with this topic in mind: is Lost Ark pay to win? I think it's the best way to make people decide on their own. So good for me is to explain all potential systems most people will face in this game and positive gains in spending real money opposed to time and gold. Obviously, we play MMOs to get stronger and face more epic bosses along the journey, right? And in Lost Ark, there are several attributes that determine your strength, and I will list them all in their values. So let's talk about battle level. Battle level determines your actual level. This determines your entry to main contents like Chaos Gate, Guardian raids, and Commander raids. For example, Commander raids here. You have these four raids, the big raids. It requires you to have item level 1450. 15, sorry. And this is like 1430 and so on and so forth. And Chaos Gate raids, which is over here, which it requires you to have a certain item level to enter these these content. And this content is important for you to do it every day to gather possible gears and possible accessories. In order for you to reach higher item level, you need to upgrade your gear. In order for you to upgrade your gear, you go to the forge and you start upgrading. So for example, I wanted to upgrade this, it will be 5% chance, right? And then it requires you to, spend these three resources, which you can buy off of users, or you can naturally gain them throughout the game. If you want to have a higher chance, you can use these catalysts as well, right? All these items can be gathered throughout the game very slowly, or you can buy them at the cash shop. So technically, if you are playing very slow, you will eventually get there, but not as fast as people who are spending money to buy gold to buy the materials afterwards. Next one that really highly determines your specs is fighting attributes and engravement system. So if you click it here, you have the fighting attributes here. And these are important because it determines your crit, right? Specialization and your speed and cooldown, right? So these accessories, you see there are 7 attributes, but you only use 3. Each accessories have engravements attached to them. And having these specific engravements will have gain higher damages, right? So you need these in order for you to do damage in raids, right? You won't do enough damage, or you basically won't be able to survive or clear the raid if you don't have any of these. So for example, there are specific builds per class to spec up in order for you to dish out the best damages you can. So to clarify a little further, this is by the way, this is very in-depth. So like this probably requires many videos, and I'm pretty sure others have talked about this so far. But I wanted to clarify and simplify this as much as I can. So this class I have here so far, this gunslinger class. You have 3 weapons, right? You have the handgun, you have the shotgun, you have the rifle. If I wanted to use all 3, I would have this class perk. It's this class engravement that buffs 3 of them, all 3 of them, by crit or by damage, etc. However, if I want to take a special route of this one's particularly made for rifles only. So this engravement disables my shotgun and use handguns and rifles only, but it increases the rifle's damage very much. If I want to become like a sniper build, I would use this engravement instead of the other one. But you can't really determine which is stronger, but it doesn't really matter because it'll be pretty good on all raids anyway. Just because you have a certain build, it doesn't mean that you can't clear a raid. Buying these accessories, you need to buy them off of users, so it would require a lot of gold, which if you require a lot of gold, you will need to spend, you may need to spend money, or you may need to play for a very long time. This system is very in depth again, so maybe in the future I can cover this more per class if you guys have any questions. And here, additional stats and the attribute stats and skill points here. So if I want to increase this further without, other than the accessories, or if I want to have additional skill points. So if you see here, you have all these skill points, and these are determined on quests, like, story quests, or, achievements, or, gatherings that requires you pure time instead of, money. All these adds up. So basically, most users tend to do this earlier to gain advantages. So the longer you play, you have more skill points, you have more attribute points. So you can keep that in mind. There are some attributes that you need to do with that you can't be covered by spending money. Addition to additional attributes and skill points, you can also obtain runes by clearing quests and raid bosses. These help specific skills to cast faster, or receive receive speed boosts, or even like shields. So this would be like a cherry on top of like a specific skill to make it better. And these are obtained if you play it for a long time instead of buying it off of a store or something. Now, there's a tripod system as it translated based on the Lost Ark site. Tripod is a skill, the skill's additional level. So if you noticed here, I have this rifle skill, perfect shot. You have this level as level 5, and this as level 5. So here you can't level this, but you can level this as well. This increases the damage of a skill and makes it better of this perk. So you choose like a build, like a skill build level. People use like different passive skills. You can use this or this, right? You can save whichever skill you want. This level boost is determined on your gear. So you notice I have 3, 4, and 3 for like the for the focus shot, right? These can be obtained by playing the game and receiving gears with that specific skill, and you can transfer it or buy it off of an auction store using gold. This also increases your, again, as I explained before, this also increases your skill damage. There are jewels too. So jewels determine additional damage per skill or cooldown per skill. So here you have this as level 7. It gives 21% more damage per skill on this perfect shot, right? Or this focus shot here, 21% damage and 14% cooldown. These jewels, you need 3 of them to go to the next level. So for instance, this level 8 jewel requires 3 of them, 3 of the level 7s. You need to fuse them together to get level 8. And the max level is level 10. And you can buy level 10 jewel directly, which is technically spending money, but you can essentially keep playing the game and gather smaller jewels, because the game will give you less level jewels, like level 1, level 2 jewels. You just keep fusing them together, and then you gather little by little to get a stronger jewel. And now lastly, avatars. You have avatars too in this game, but unlike, let's say, I played a lot of Korean MMOs, like you have like, something like DFO, like the avatars do give you additional stats. They do. Like they give you 1% in dexterity, right? And legendary avatars give you 2%. But this is like minuscule. I believe this is minuscule because like it really doesn't make a big difference. And avatars, you can gain them through, this game has given us free avatars for a long time for like events. You can also buy avatars with gold in the auction house. People will sell it, like casuals probably sell it for you. And if you just keep gathering gold, you can buy avatars per skin. So usually, I think most people are using avatars to have better looks, right? Because so if you like, look at this bard here, right? Like this is what she has. Like she just gives it a pretty dress, right? Or some guy, you can have like an epic Iron Man look. It is more closer to cosmetics than a big stat difference. This is what I wanted to say. This covers pretty much everything that determines your character's strength. And why is this important? I will talk about the currency of the game like really quickly. There are 4 types of currency that is important. There are royal crystals, there are crystals, gold, silver, and peon, right? So there are royal crystals. Royal crystals is literally just real cash. You can get more by by spending money here. I don't know how it will be in the NA server, but That's how you get it. The only thing you can buy with real cash is the Beatrice's blessing, which is, that 10% boost and, the two additional teleports. That's about it. You can't buy this with playing the game because this is the premium cash. However, the game tend to give a lot of events, like weekly events or monthly events, to give this out for free. So I actually did not buy this yet, and I still have it, which is weird. I'm pretty sure there will be a lot of events to give this out for free. So there's not a big difference between free to play players and then premium players. To go to the next category of currencies, there are crystals, right? These regular crystals are used to buy rest of the items that are not premium crystals, like, the packages and stuff. For example, here you have the potions, right? You have the jewels, and then you have the reinforcement items if you want to buy them, actually. And these crystals can be bought with gold, right? So in the exchange. So essentially, these purple crystals are gold, a little bit more expensive gold, I would say. So by just playing the game, you can actually buy anything you want by spending gold. But I guess it'll be a lot more expensive because you can just spend cash, right? So there's that difference. So let's go to the next currency, gold. Gold is basically the main currency because I've been just talking about gold. And you can buy gold, you can sell gold, whatever. You use gold to buy various items from the auction house with other users, right? Other users for accessories, jewels. You can buy anything. You use gold to upgrade per try. With gold, you can also buy, again, the crystals to buy other things. So gold is where you keep gaining by playing every week, finishing quests and all these other things. And these are more in depth, so maybe later on we can cover this in the future. But please keep in mind that gold is basically the universal currency for this game for you to do anything you want, right? So silver, why is silver important? So silver here is basically, I would say silver is basically gold, but it would be like an offline currency. So you use silver to buy from NPCs, right? The NPC potions, right? You have this, which it requires you to use your specials here, or you can buy potions, the offline potions here. You can't use these in raids or guardian raids. You would use these battle potions, which is different. You buy gold. You buy these with gold, and you use silver to upgrade as well. Per tick. So I'm thinking that you have silver to make sure that you're controlling like most of the currencies to make sure that you're not cash counting yourself out, right? The real way to gain silver, a lot of silver, is to keep playing the game, like finishing these daily quests and running chaos dungeons and clearing raids. It gives you silver. So let's go to Peon. Why is Peon important? So Peon could be, I'd say it's a currency, but I think it's more of a token. So you buy 100 of these by spending 850 crystals, right? If you want to buy a certain gear or certain accessory, let's say I want to buy this earring. It's a pretty good earring, by the way. For 25,000 gold. It's not just 25,000 gold. It's 25,000 gold plus 25 Peon. And why is this? Why is that? Well, the developers have clarified that they created this token or / currency to prevent people to resell. Like let's say I bulk buy all of this because I'm like a big cash cow, right? And then I jack the price up to gain more gold. There are people like that, obviously, for all MMOs, and to not heavily impact the economy, they have made this so that it doesn't require them that much of a rebuy. It doesn't make sense for them. So this actually helps the market to not go like too crazy. I think it's crazy already recently, but it's not as crazy as you think. So the currency in this game is all revolved around gold, right? And gold can be obtained by playing the game, as I said before, clearing raids, daily quests, and achievements. Essentially, except like special skins and perks like Beatrice's blessings, you can buy everything by just playing the game, or being good at the game. I can probably explain this in the future if you guys need additional further description. So yeah, this is definitely a lot of information, right? but it pretty much covers all of the important aspects of the game, like to at least the end game, right? As a couple of my friends are asking me, I think it will be easier to explain the gameplay from start to finish and what happens throughout point of the game. It might not be exactly the same, but as North American servers are a new start, and I'm pretty sure everyone will start from level 1, I can simulate it based on my past experiences of the game. Let's go with like a fresh start. Level 1. This is where you enjoy the storyline, right? You absolutely do not need any hard spending on gears or any of the specs related attributes above what I've explained in the early points of the video. The dungeons that you go in, or the guardian raids that you fight, or the field monsters you fight to finish certain quests, with the free gears that you get, you do enough damage, you won't have any issues clearing the game. The natural rewards gears and upgradings with materials you receive throughout the game, up to maybe item level 1340, I think you're pretty safe. You don't need to spend any money. Based on the Korean servers, right? At least me. Going up to this point, like 1302, the item level 1302, maybe 1340, like 1370-ish, where you reach the raid point, the raid end content of the game, you would spend about like 26 hours. But this is because the Korean servers, they skip a lot of the side quests and like skip all the cutscenes and whatever. If I add like the cutscenes and everything, I'm pretty sure it's like triple the amount. So basically, you're playing the game for free for like 70-ish hours to just enjoy the story. And if you like the game more, you can keep playing to enjoy like end game raid content. But the core aspects of the game, you don't really need to spend any money, because you get natural gears, you get natural materials for you to upgrade, and every week you finishing the daily quests, you get more currency, like you get more gold, you get more silver, and etc. Now, 1370 item level 1370 is where it gets a little bit harder, because this is the item level where you can challenge the first abyss raid boss. This raid boss, which is 1370, right? This is where the game gets a little bit tricky. With the natural items that you get, you don't dish out enough damage to kill this boss. If you have a 1370, there are 3 phases in this boss, by the way. If you have 8 people that are 1370, you can only beat the first phase, because you just can't. The next phase is required to be higher level. Lots of people quit this game at this point because people are not going to allow you into their party if you're not like spec'd up enough, because they want to clear the boss, right? Since people start cherry picking, this is where like the free users tend to be out of the game and not being able to do other things other than the daily quests, like the chaos dungeons and all that, and guardians, etc. But they won't be doing the key raids. And if you finish the key raids, you get more gold. So you would feel kind of left out, and that's why people kind of quit. That's why some people spend money to like speed this up faster and buy like the accessories that they need. But considering it's going to be a new server, I'm pretty sure people will be a little bit more lax on cherry picking parties. 1370 with decent engravings, on so on and so forth. If you reach 1415, you start challenging the commander raids, right? This is where a point that you require at least a 4 of these 3s. Obviously we can talk about this way later, but setting this up costs like a lot, right? Nowadays it costs like 20,000 gold. Back then when I started this game, it costed me about 9k gold, but 9k gold was actually a lot back then. And even now, if I want to have 3 of these, I would need to spend 10,000 plus if it's 5 accessories, right? If it's 5 accessory plus a stone, it would be at least 134 Peon, right? So you would need to buy Peon as well. But throughout the game, you receive free Peons from the developers by doing events and stuff. But the point is, you need to set your thing up, and when you have a fresh server, right? these are pretty rare drops, right? Like, how are they gonna sell it on the auction house? Because like there will be, there won't be any people like selling it, right? And then it will be much more expensive. It'll be much more. I'm pretty sure it'll be much more expensive because there's not that many in stock. So I don't know how it will be played out. This is particularly the end game. Like you only raid, and then you run daily content. There really no storyline or anything. You just keep doing raids. You gather gold. You spec up, right? People tend to play a lot and then just keep buying gear. Play a lot, buy gear. They can even start a new character, start different characters, right? And level them up to 14, 15, right? To enjoy commander raids. To essentially to wrap this up as like what kind of contents are out there. This would be the last content, the commander raids. This is the very last content. So to wrap up, to answer this additional questions as my friends ask me, right? Is gears and specs really important, right? Well, I think it's yes and no. You definitely have an advantage in damage, right? And you get damaged less because you're stronger, right? You're tankier. And obviously, as any other MMOs, this results in safer raid clearing. And obviously, keep in mind that Lost Ark has limited lives and limited time. So you need to have a better spec'd players to not die to clear the raid, right? To receive all the gold. So if you answer the question, is gears really important? Yes, if you want to clear the raid safely. However, there are also a lot of gimmicks. So from here, I don't know about this. Well, there are instant deaths in this tech. I don't want to spoil at all. That's why. But there are gimmicks on these each commander raids, and there are gimmicks on abyss raids as well. Even if you have the best gear in the world, if you fail a gimmick, or if you fail like a certain puzzle gimmick, right, you get wiped. You just die, right? So even if you have, again, the best gear in the game, but if you suck, right? If you suck at executing the gimmicks and not dodge obvious attacks, like you die.
I'm a guy. Thank you, whoever.
What? Most people require you to be much higher item level to challenge this particular boss, right? And you see this here, it says 1475. You can beat this raid in 1475, but it's very hard. It takes like hours. But it's not impossible, right? So it doesn't require you to spend money to beat certain raids, like beat certain content. But it's just much harder, right? So, and if you ask the choice of like, will you have a better gear and to run the raid easier, or you're gonna have a harder time? Do you want the challenge, or do you want to like beat the raids easier? That's where it really becomes in this game. If you're good at it, you can beat every raid at the item level that is required. But although you will need the engravings still, because like you're not gonna do enough damage, and you're gonna run out of time. You can think of it that way. To add my personal opinion, this game can definitely be argued as pay to win because you're essentially buying time and buying gold to buy necessary gears to run the raids, as I explained kept explaining before, right? I'm being continuous, but I want to be clear that you can get these raid points of the game, end game points of the game, eventually by playing the game for a very long time. And I'm talking like 3 months, like 4 months, 5 months, right? There are free users that are in end game level, but they've been playing the game for a year, or like past a year. And these time differences can be huge by spending money, right? If I can just cash cow it out and buy all the items I want and go to all the raids and get all the gold. But you're not gonna be so far ahead compared to people who are catching up to you, because you'll only be limited to a certain raid point, a certain update point. You will just have an easier time clearing the raid. So in conclusion, it's a free game for months if you're intending to try out for the core story, right? But it's questionable if you are trying to run the raids, right? Because it requires you to have good gear and all the attributes above that I've talked before, and this costs a lot of money. And as more higher end raids come out, it requires you to have better specs, better gear, better jewels, like so on and so forth. And most people are frustrated because they feel so far behind, but eventually you'll get there. That's the thing. So if you feel that you want to try this game out because you kind of like the core of the action, if you just like the game for the action stuff, you're going to enjoy it for the free part, like the core story part. But later on, if you feel that if you feel that you're left out, you can just take it even slower. Keep gathering gold and buy accessories that you need, that is needed. Or play with friends that is okay to take on the challenge of less specs and challenging the particular raid with less specs, right? But spending money is only gonna get you a little faster. That's about it. But there are no critical big differences between cash users and free users. Hope you have enjoyed this long video. Hope it clarified anyone's decisions on playing the games or not. If you have any additional questions, feel free to leave comments below or visit my stream. I'm always down to answer some new questions. Well, I like this game a lot, so feel free. Cool. All right, thanks. Bye.